In the turbulent skies over wartime Europe, a squadron of Allied Mustangs emerges, guardians of a squadron of B-17 bombers. Just as the B-17s steady their formation, the enemy's roaring engines signal their presence. A swarm of over 30 Me-109s pierce the horizon, their guns blazing. Leading the Mustangs is a legend, a battle-hardened ace who knows no fear. With determination in his eyes, he expertly steers his aircraft behind enemy lines, catching the Me-109s off guard. Flames erupt as he shoots down one enemy, then another, his skilled maneuvers catching adversaries unaware. As the dogfight intensified, the once organized formation of Me-109s crumbled under the relentless assault of the Mustangs. The lead pilot's audacity is evident, as he claims more victories while his comrades efficiently dispatch other threats. With the skies cleared and the B-17 safe, the Mustangs, battle-worn but triumphant, returned to their base. That day, 6 German planes fell victim to the hand of the greatest Mustang ace World War II had seen. He is Major George Preddy Jr., and this is his story. Born on February 5, 1919 in Greensboro, North Carolina, George Earl Preddy Jr. was the second of 4 children born to George Earl Sr. and Clara Noah Preddy. From an early age, it was evident that he possessed a competitive spirit and a relentless drive to achieve his goals. Preddy attended Aycock School and later enrolled at Greensboro High School, where he would leave an indelible mark. Even in his formative years, Preddy displayed a tenacious work ethic, going above and beyond to pursue excellence. At just 16 years old, he graduated from high school, a remarkable feat accomplished by doubling up on his courses. It was during this time that his unwavering determination began to take shape. Following his high school graduation, Preddy embarked on a path that would further shape his destiny. He initially found employment at a cotton mill, but his restless spirit craved something more. It was not long before he set his sights on the skies. It was during his brief college education that his fascination with planes took flight. Fueling his passion, he became a barnstormer pilot, engaging in daring aerial performances that captured the imaginations of those who witnessed his airborne prowess. In September 1940, George Preddy Jr. took his first step towards military service by enlisting in the North Carolina National Guard. He became a member of the esteemed 252nd Coast Artillery Regiment. However, Preddy's aspirations extended beyond the Army, as he yearned to become an aviator in the U.S. Navy. Preddy made 3 attempts to join the Navy, but was rejected each time. His dreams of soaring through the skies seemed dashed. Each time he applied, the physical exam posed a challenge due to his relatively small stature and curved spine. However, despite these obstacles, he refused to surrender his ambitions. His unwavering determination urged him to explore alternative paths to achieve his goal. Thus, he went for the Army instead. Finally, on April 29, 1941, he entered the U.S. Army Air Corps Aviation Cadet Program, recognizing it as an opportunity to fulfill his desire. On December 12, 1941, 5 days after the United States entered the war, Preddy's efforts culminated in triumph. Commissioned as a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army Air Forces, he was awarded his pilot wings at Craig Field in Alabama. With his wings firmly in place, George Preddy Jr. stood ready to embark on a remarkable journey that would make him one of World War II's most esteemed fighter pilots. Assigned to the 9th Pursuit Squadron of the 49th Pursuit Group, Preddy initially served as a P-40 Warhawk pilot stationed in Darwin, Australia. He named his first plane Tar Heel, paying homage to his beloved home state. It was in Australia that he first encountered the enemy, and though he didn't destroy any enemy planes, he claimed 2 damaged Japanese aircraft. During his time in Australia, Preddy faced a near-death experience for the first time. As part of a routine exercise, Preddy and another fellow pilot simulated Japanese bombers while 2 other pilots practiced their interception skills. In a tragic turn of events, Second Lieutenant John Sauber's plane collided with Preddy's, leading to a fiery descent. Sauber lost his life, while Preddy managed to bail out, but not without sustaining severe injuries. If his friends didn't find him immediately after the crash, he would have surely bled to death. Resilient and determined, Preddy recovered from his injuries and was sent back to the States. He was reassigned to the 487th Fighter Squadron of the 352nd Fighter Group, flying P-47 Thunderbolts. In July 1943, Preddy's unit embarked on the RMS Queen Elizabeth. They arrived at Scotland's Firth of Clyde and subsequently were stationed at RAF Bodney in Watton, Norfolk, operating under the 67th Fighter Wing, 8th Fighter Command. Many of these pilots were inexperienced and fresh from flight school. However, among them were a few seasoned campaigners, Preddy being one of them. In Scotland, Preddy rechristened his plane to "Cripes a Mighty," after his favorite saying. Until the war's end, he would paint the words to each aircraft he flew along with the image of a dragon spitting fire. Aside from his picturesque plane, Preddy would soon distinguish himself by action in the skies. By September 1943, Preddy was already participating in combat missions, but it was not until December 1st, 1943, that he achieved his inaugural aerial victory by downing a Messerschmitt Me-109. More claims followed, as on December 22nd, during an intense aerial engagement, Preddy defended a beleaguered B-24 Liberator from enemy aircraft, an act that earned him the Silver Star. Just a month later, Preddy again stood on the verge of death. On January 29, 1944, his unit was escorting a large formation of 800 bombers that had just targeted industrial complexes in Frankfurt. Flying his P-47 Thunderbolt, he engaged an FW-190 over the French coast, successfully shooting it down. However, the German flak shot his aircraft during the flight over enemy territory. Preddy skillfully managed to keep his damaged Thunderbolt airborne despite being hit, flying it over the English Channel. Eventually, he bailed out of his aircraft, landing in the cold sea. Lieutenant William T. Wisner, Preddy's wingman, circled overhead, repeatedly radioing Preddy's coordinates to assist in his rescue. Unfortunately for Preddy, this was not the end of his misery, as a Royal Air Force flying boat that came to rescue him almost drowned him due to rough seas. Ultimately, the flying boat was towed to the coast by the Royal Navy after it broke one of its pontoons. Despite everything, thanks to his determination and the efforts of his comrade, Preddy could continue his remarkable journey as a fighter pilot. Moreover, he was just beginning his path to becoming a legend. In April 1944, the 352nd Fighter Group underwent a significant transition, converting to more agile and powerful P-51 Mustangs. Preddy was soon promoted to major, and his prowess continued to shine as he continued to engage enemies in one-on-one dogfights. Preddy's score began to climb steadily as he grew more acquainted with his new aircraft. On May 13th, he achieved the status of a flying ace after downing 2 Bf-109s during a bomber escort mission. The summer of 1944 proved to be a pivotal period for Preddy. With a standard tour of duty and 2 extensions already completed, Preddy was on the verge of embarking on a 3rd extension. Undeterred by personal accolades, he focused on the ultimate goal of ending the war. As the battles raged below him on the Western Front, Preddy's remarkable skill earned him 9 more victories between June and August. On August 5th, First Lieutenant George E. Preddy embarked on a mission that would etch his name in aerial warfare history. After returning to his airbase at Bodney from a mission in which he downed 1 Me-109, Preddy learned of unfavorable flying conditions forecasted for the next day and the cancellation of scheduled flights. The 352nd Fighter Group's War Bond Drive party provided him a reprieve. In a twist of fate, an aide roused Preddy 20 minutes after he went asleep for an unscheduled mission. Despite being intoxicated, Preddy assumed the role of flight leader. His comrades assisted him, ensuring his readiness. A maximum effort mission ensued, with the formidable Luftwaffe awaiting. Over 30 Me-109s intercepted the B-17s escorted by Preddy's unit. Maneuvering shrewdly, Preddy attacked from behind, downing one pursuer and igniting another. With precision, he and his comrades decimated enemy fighters, the foes ahead oblivious to the threat from behind. Preddy's valiant sorties continued, torching two more Me-109s. As the remaining Germans realized the danger, they dove. Mustangs pursued. Preddy claimed a fifth victim as the Germans descended. An adversary attempted to tail him, but Preddy's skill prevailed. Landing at Bodny, Preddy, ill-looking and exhausted, emerged from his Mustang, an image immortalized by a cameraman at the base. News of his feat spread, casting him as the Allies' most prestigious soldier. In a controversial choice, though recommended for the Medal of Honor, he received the Distinguished Flying Cross for his actions that day. After another of his combat extensions expired, Major George Preddy Jr. was sent home on leave. However, Preddy was the type of guy who never left any job unfinished. He could not sit idle while the war was still raging. And so, he managed to acquire a fourth extension. He was assigned commander of the 328 Fighter Squadron and given a brand new P-51D 15NA, the Cripes A Mighty Fourth. In this unit, Preddy saw the beginning of the Battle of the Bulge in December 1944. Due to bad weather, the entire 352nd Fighter Group was grounded for a week. On December 25, 1944, Christmas Day, Preddy lifted off, leading a group of 10 P-51's to a patrol flight. During the flight, they suddenly received a call to engage in a dogfight in progress. In a minute, Preddy and his men were there. After destroying two Me-109s, Preddy vectored toward a lone FW-190, strafing Allied troops on the ground. As he pursued him, Preddy flew across the front line at treetop height. Unexpectedly, he got caught by friendly anti-aircraft fire. The gunner aiming at the German plane never saw Preddy's P-51 coming. Mortally wounded by a 50 cal round, Preddy managed to release his canopy but couldn't bail out. The rest of the pilots from the squadron watched in disbelief as their bellowed commander's Mustang hit the ground at high speed. Dodging death from the enemy numerous times, Major George Preddy Jr.'s life was tragically cut short by an accidental friendly fire. He ended his service knowing no defeat in combat. Moreover, he ended it as the top-scoring Mustang ace of the war, with 25 1/2 and 1/3 enemy air-to-air kills. At the time of his death, George Preddy Jr. was only 25. His dedication and sacrifice made him one of America's greatest war heroes. Thank you for watching this episode. If you liked it, please make sure to share it and give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to our Militology channel for more content. Stay tuned by hitting the bell icon to be notified with our newest videos.